I opened the bedroom door, expecting the silence that usually greeted me. Instead, I froze. Lena's laugh, and Ryan. What the hell is this? My voice cracked before I could stop it. Lena barely looked at me, smirking. Oh, you're home early. Didn't expect you to notice. Ryan leaned back on the bed, casual, like he owned the place. Hey, don't be so dramatic. She invited me. Invited you? My hands shook. My knees felt weak. You're cheating on me. Right here. Right now. Lena's eyes softened, but it wasn't pity. It was amusement. Cheating? Don't be ridiculous. I never loved you. You're stable, reliable, yes, but I married you for security, not passion. Ryan, he's real. I felt my chest tighten. You're leaving me? She shrugged. I want a divorce. And don't pretend you didn't see this coming. We were never us. Ryan laughed, loud and cruel. Look at him, Lena. Poor guy actually thought he mattered. The words hit me harder than the sight. Every memory, every late night I stayed up worrying about her, every birthday I remembered, every sacrifice I made, it all crashed down. Is this your idea of a joke? My voice shook. I've done everything for you. Everything? She rolled her eyes. You gave me a nice house, money, comfort. That's your everything? That's pathetic. I loved you. My words were almost a whisper, but they burned in my chest. I loved you, and you. You loved me? Lena interrupted, cold now. Love? That's rich. You think love matters when it's boring? When it's predictable? You're nothing. Just a man who follows rules, who can't see reality. Ryan smirked. She's right. You're a loser. Always were. Always will be. Meanwhile, we're happy. I stumbled back, my hand grazing the doorframe for support. You're happy? You destroy everything I built for us, and you call this happiness? Lena laughed softly, the sound slicing through me. I call it freedom. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hit something, someone. Instead, I let the shock anchor me in place. My mind went blank, yet every memory of our life together screamed louder than the silence. Do you even realize what you're doing? I finally managed, my throat tight. Do you know what this means for us? For me? Oh, I do, she said, calm now. It means I'm done wasting time with someone who can't give me what I want. Ryan can. I'm leaving. You'll survive. Somehow. I laughed, but it was hollow. Survive? Survive what? You've torn my world apart. You're stronger than you think. Or maybe not, she replied, her eyes glinting. Either way, it's your problem now. Ryan leaned forward, smug. Go ahead, beg. Plead. Maybe it'll make it easier on you. I swallowed hard. Beg? For what? You don't deserve anything from me. Funny, Ryan said. I thought you wanted her. Clearly, she doesn't want you. She never wanted me, Lena confirmed. And that's the truth you need to accept. I shook my head, staggering back toward the hallway. My body felt like it was made of stone. No, this isn't real. It can't be real. Oh, it's very real, Ryan said, standing and brushing past me. Deal with it, loser. I clutched the doorframe as I tried to steady myself. My thoughts raced, every memory, every shared plan, every word of comfort I'd offered her. We had a life together. All those nights I stayed late to make sure bills were paid, all the dinners I cooked when you were tired, everything. Lena's expression didn't change. You call that love? That's obligation. You were never the man I needed. And Ryan, he is. I felt dizzy. My knees gave way, and I sank to the floor, my hands gripping my head. I can't believe this. I gave you everything. Everything. And you throw it away like I meant nothing. You meant stability, she said softly, almost mocking me with kindness. Nothing more. My throat tightened, my chest heaving. And Ryan, you're just. Better than you, he interrupted, smug. Exactly. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my balance. My body shook, my mind felt detached, but my heart was collapsing in slow motion. I trusted you. I thought we were a team. You thought wrong, Lena said. Now it's over. And there's no going back. I got to my feet, numb and trembling. No, you don't just walk out. Not like this. You don't. I'm walking out, she interrupted, heading for the door. And you? You'll figure yourself out. Ryan followed, giving me one last look of disdain. Goodbye, loser. The click of the door closing felt like a gunshot in my chest. My legs gave way entirely, and I collapsed onto the floor. Tears stung my eyes, but it wasn't just sadness. It was betrayal. Heartbreak. Rage. Humiliation. I got up, my movements robotic, and stepped outside. Rain hit me immediately, cold and sharp. It soaked my clothes, my hair, but I barely noticed. I wandered the streets, my mind blank, my chest aching. I thought about every moment, every memory, my foolish hope, my misplaced trust. How had I missed the signs? How had I believed in her? I muttered to myself, voice rough and broken. How could you? How could you do this? Passers-by glanced at me, but I barely saw them. The world blurred around me. My hands were shaking, my vision foggy. I wanted to scream, to hit, to throw something, but there was nothing to throw, nowhere to aim. I remembered my own sacrifices, late nights, unpaid overtime, skipping meals just to make her happy. Every effort now felt meaningless, like dust in the wind. My future seemed to collapse in front of me. I worked for this? I whispered, rain dripping down my face. I built a life for this? The cold soaked into my bones, but it wasn't enough to numb the ache inside. I sank to the curb, head in my hands, body shivering violently. My heart felt like it was being ripped apart slowly, deliberately. Everything, gone, because of them, I muttered to the empty street. All of it, ruined. I wanted to disappear, to let the world swallow me whole. But I stayed, even as the rain washed over me, cold and relentless. I stayed, because some part of me couldn't let go. Couldn't accept that my life had ended like this. The hours passed. I didn't notice. My body moved, my mind spun. Thoughts collided, memories exploded. How many times had I trusted her? How many times had I believed in them both? How foolish. I whispered into the rain, voice cracking. I don't know how to survive this. My legs gave out again. I collapsed completely, lying in the puddles, soaked, broken. Every heartbeat was agony, every breath a reminder that life had betrayed me as thoroughly as she had. And yet, somewhere deep inside, a faint spark refused to die. A tiny, fragile flame of thought whispered in the chaos, maybe this isn't the end. Maybe, something else. But even as the spark flickered, despair consumed me. That night, I believed my life was over. I believed all hope had died. I believed that nothing could ever return what I had lost. I shivered in the rain, numb, shaking, heart shattered, staring at the wet asphalt, not knowing that fate was about to give me a second chance, a cruel, twisted, unexpected gift that would change everything. I woke up gasping, the smell of old carpet filling my nose. My chest heaved, heart pounding like it had just survived a storm. For a second, I thought I was still in the rain, still broken, still betrayed. Then I looked around. Where, what? I whispered, my voice hoarse. The apartment was small, shabby. The peeling wallpaper, the rusty sink, the faded calendar on the wall, it all looked familiar. Too familiar. My hands shook as I touched the wooden table. The scratches, the stains, every mark matched my memories. This can't be real, I muttered. It's the apartment from 10 years ago? I rushed to the mirror, hands gripping the sink. My reflection stared back. Younger. Fresh-faced. Alive. Not the broken, soaked, shivering man who had collapsed in the rain. My mind spun. No, this is a dream. A nightmare I can wake from, I whispered. I touched my face, every contour, every scar missing. The panic clawed at me. I died, didn't I? But I'm alive? A laugh escaped me, hollow, shaky. Alive? What kind of joke is this? I ran to the door, opened it, and looked down the hallway. Empty. Quiet. Safe. Too safe. I felt tears prick at my eyes. Everything I lost, gone? No. I can fix it. I sank onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. I remember everything. Lena, Ryan, the betrayal, the divorce, the humiliation. I remember it all. A sudden knock at the door made me jump. My heart leaped. Who is it? I called, voice trembling. No one, came a familiar voice from my memory. My own, laughing bitterly at the absurdity. Just you, your past self, or maybe, your chance. I froze. Chance? I whispered to myself. Second chance? I got up, pacing. If this is real, if I really woke up 10 years ago, I can do it differently. I can become strong. I won't be weak this time. I imagined her face, Lena's smirk, Ryan's arrogance. Rage bubbled up, sharp and hot. They think I'm nothing, that I'll let them destroy me. But this time, it's my turn. I clenched my fists. I'll start over. From nothing. From scratch. And I'll rise, higher than they ever imagined. I pulled out my phone, no notifications, no calls, no reminders. Everything blank, like the world hadn't started yet. Perfect. Perfect for a plan. I muttered to myself, pacing the room. Investments, property, stocks. I know the market, the trends, everything that will make me untouchable. I'll build something unstoppable. I stopped suddenly. But first, I need allies. People I can trust, or at least, people I can control. I remembered Daniel, a loyal partner from my previous life. Daniel, he could help. I know him, I know what he wants. I can recruit him, gain his loyalty early. And May, sharp, clever, calculating. If I bring her in, I can expand faster. I can grow stronger than before. The excitement pulsed through me, replacing some of the panic. But it was faint, fragile. The betrayal still burned inside. I whispered to myself, pacing again. I won't make the same mistakes. I won't trust blindly. I'll be smarter. Stronger. Ruthless if I have to be. My phone buzzed suddenly, a notification I knew shouldn't exist. A reminder from years ago. Meeting with your old client. 9 a.m. I froze. Even this. I can use. Every detail, every memory, my advantage. I sank into the couch again, overwhelmed but determined. This isn't just revenge, it's survival. It's justice. It's proving to myself that I am more than what they took from me. I remembered the night everything fell apart. The rain, the betrayal, the words. They thought they broke me. They thought I was done, finished. But they didn't know. I had a second chance. I laughed bitterly. They'll see me again, not as the man they discarded, but as the one controlling everything they want. A soft knock at the door startled me again. My heart pounded. Who is it now? I whispered, gripping the edge of the table. No one, I said to myself, shaking my head. No one can stop me now. Not them. Not fate. Not anyone. I walked to the window, looking out at the quiet street. Everything seemed ordinary, peaceful. But inside, my mind raced. Peaceful now, yes, peaceful. But it won't stay that way. Not for them. Not for me. This is my time. I sat down, opening a notebook I had found in my memory, a place where I had kept plans, ideas, strategies. My handwriting young, unrefined, but full of potential. I began to write, each word a promise. I will not fail. I will not stumble. I will rise, and when I do, they will see what they lost. Hours passed as I wrote, planned, calculated. I mapped every investment, every opportunity, every risk I would take. I thought of Lena and Ryan, each step in their lives I would observe, each weakness I would exploit. The taste of revenge was sweet, but I didn't let it consume me yet. Patience. Precision. That was key. I paused, looking at my own reflection in the darkened window. You have one chance. One life to do it right. Don't waste it like before. Don't let betrayal break you again. The memory of rain and heartbreak returned, sharp and clear. I remember the cold, the emptiness, the humiliation. I remember it all. I'll use it. All of it. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. This is terrifying. But it's right. It's mine. I will take control. I began to speak aloud, testing the words, the strategy. First, build wealth. Then power. Then influence. Lena and Ryan, they will pay. Not with blood, not yet. But with loss, with shame, with helplessness. Just like I felt. A laugh escaped me, low and bitter. They'll beg for mercy, but it won't come. Not from me. Not this time. I rose, stretching my arms, feeling the adrenaline, the fire. And I will not forget. I will not forgive. Not now. Not until every wrong is balanced. I walked to the old closet, pulling out clothes, imagining the man I was becoming. Strong, confident, untouchable. Every step from now, deliberate. Every move, calculated. Every word, weaponized. I won't be blind again. The city outside was quiet, unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I smiled grimly. They think life is ordinary. They think everything will stay the same. They don't know me, not yet. I stopped, hands resting on the table, staring at the floor. My mind replayed everything, the betrayal, the cold laughter, the final words. Pain flared again, sharp and raw. But now it was fuel, not chains. I will rise, I whispered. I will take everything back, and more. And when they see me again, they will understand what it means to betray me. The apartment felt alive with possibility. My heart no longer only ached, it beat with determination, with fire, with promise. I would survive. I would build. I would conquer. And I would ensure that the past, the betrayal, the humiliation, would be nothing compared to the storm I was about to unleash. I sat back, notebook in hand, heart steady, mind sharp. This is the beginning, the start of the man I should have been. The man they'll never forget. The man they'll regret destroying. And for the first time since that rainy night, I smiled, not with relief, not with forgiveness, but with a burning certainty. I had been given a second chance, and I would not waste it. I sat at my tiny desk, staring at the blank notebook. The smell of old paper and cheap ink filled my nose, but I didn't notice. I barely slept the past few nights, running through every memory, every detail, every opportunity one had in my previous life. I can't waste time, I whispered to myself. I won't. I opened the notebook and began scribbling numbers, ideas, investment plans. Stocks, property, tech startups. I know where it will boom, where it will fail. I can't miss a single one. A knock at the door startled me. I jumped. Who is it? Daniel, came a voice I recognized. You planning a bank heist, or just talking to yourself again? I froze for a moment, then laughed softly. Daniel? Just thinking. He leaned in the doorway, arms crossed. You've been thinking a lot lately. And scribbling like a madman. What's going on? I looked up, my eyes bright with a mix of excitement and fire. I've been given a second chance. A chance to do it right. To be stronger. To never be weak again. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Second chance? You sound crazy. But I like the fire in your eyes. You planning something big? I nodded. Everything. I won't make the same mistakes. This time, I'll rise above everyone. Anne. I need partners I can trust. Or at least, people who understand opportunity. He smirked. Partners, huh? You talking about me? Yes, I said firmly. I need someone smart, loyal, willing to take risks. You're the only one I trust to not falter under pressure. Daniel grinned, stepping into the apartment. You always had a fire in you. I'll admit, I doubted it at first, but this is different. I'm in. But tell me, what's the plan? I leaned back, letting my fingers drum on the table. Step 1, rebuild from nothing. Invest wisely, expand carefully, control risk. Step 2, gain influence. Make connections, build trust, gain leverage. Step 3, patience. Wait until the right moment. Daniel chuckled. Sounds simple on paper. But knowing you, it'll be messy. I smiled, a sharp, determined grin. Messy is fine. I've learned from the chaos before. This time, chaos will work for me, not against me. We spent hours going through ideas, strategies, every detail. Daniel was precise, calculating, his brain matching mine at every turn. For the first time since my rebirth, I felt a spark of hope. May, I said suddenly. I need her too. Sharp, strategic, she helped me before. If she's with us, nothing can stop us. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You've got quite the vision, huh? You planning to take on the world? I laughed, bitter and sharp. No, not the world. Just the people who thought they could destroy me. I'll rise, and when I do, they'll see me at the top. Daniel shook his head, amused. Ambition suits you. Just, don't burn yourself out. I won't, I said firmly. This time. I pace myself. I build. I dominate. And I never forget. The next morning, I went through the streets, soaking in the familiar smells, the markets, the offices I once walked past. I observed everything, noting opportunities, potential contacts, trends I could exploit. I whispered to myself everything I know. I can use it. Every mistake, every success, all of it, mine to rewrite. Back at the apartment, Daniel and I set up our first company, in name at least. We drew diagrams, financial forecasts, potential clients, and investors. Every step precise, deliberate. This is just the beginning, I told him. We start small, invisible. But with every move, we grow stronger. Daniel nodded, leaning back in his chair. You really mean it, huh? You're not just talking. You're alive in a way I've never seen before. I can't waste this, I said quietly. Every day counts. Every decision counts. Every mistake will be fatal if I let it happen again. He smirked. Sounds like old you, only sharper. Ruthless? I paused, thinking. Not ruthless, calculated. Smart. Patient. I'll wait for the perfect moment, for the right time. Days turned into weeks. I worked non-stop, barely sleeping, fueled by memories of betrayal and humiliation. I revisited old contacts, finding those who could help, those who could hinder. I learned patience through every failed attempt, every setback. One night, Daniel said, You know, you're obsessed with them, aren't you? I looked at him, eyes hard. Lena, Ryan, yes. I remember every word, every insult, every betrayal. That pain, it drives me. But it doesn't control me. I use it. Daniel shook his head. I've never seen someone turn rage into strategy like this. It's impressive and terrifying. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Terrifying is fine. They'll see that soon enough. Weeks later, we recruited May. Sharp, clever, calculating, just as I remembered. You're back, she said when she first saw me. I heard rumors about, well, you vanished for a while. I had to start over, I said. And I need the right people to build with me. You're one of them. She studied me carefully, eyes sharp. You haven't changed. Still arrogant. Still calculating. But I like it. Let's see what you've got. Daniel chuckled beside me. I told you. Only you could pull her in. I smiled, letting the fire in me burn quietly. Together, we're unstoppable. Everything I failed to do before, we will do now. Every mistake corrected. Every opportunity seized. May raised an eyebrow. You really haven't told me everything, have you? Not yet, I said. Patience. Everything comes in time. But trust me, it's worth it. As the weeks passed, we grew stronger. Investments returned higher than expected. Deals I had predicted succeeded. Slowly, quietly, power began to build. Every day, I watched the world differently, not as a victim but as someone shaping it. I whispered to myself one evening, staring out at the city lights, "This is mine. Every step, every move, mine. And soon, they'll remember who I am." Daniel nudged me, smirking. "You really think about them a lot, huh?" "Every day," I said, voice calm but deadly serious. "I remember every insult, every betrayal. It fuels me, shapes me, sharpens me. And when the time comes, they won't know what hit them." May laughed softly. "You've changed, in ways I didn't think possible. But I like it. Let's see how far we can take this." I nodded, eyes bright, determination steady. "Far enough that no one can ever touch me again. Not them. Not fate. Not anyone." By the end of the month, our small company had become a quiet force, invisible to most but growing stronger every day. I sat at my desk late at night, notebook in hand, heart steady, mind sharp. This is only the beginning. From nothing, everything. And when I rise, they'll see. The fire inside me burned brighter than ever. Not for revenge alone, but for control, power, and proof that I could never be broken again. And deep down, a smile tugged at my lips. Soon, very soon, they'll pay for every lie, every betrayal, every insult. But not today. Today, I build. Today, I rise. I didn't expect to see her. Not like this, not now. I walked into the business event, a glass of water in my hand, scanning the room. My company had grown quietly, steadily, far beyond what I ever imagined at this stage. And yet, my eyes locked on her immediately. Lena. Older, more elegant, but the same smirk, the one that haunted me for years. "Lena?" I asked, voice low, almost to myself. She froze, her glass trembling in her hand. I don't believe it. "Is that you?" I let a slow smile spread across my face. "Yes. It's me. I'm here." Ryan stood beside her, tall, confident. "Who's he?" he asked, frowning. "Do you know him?" She didn't answer immediately. Her eyes searched mine, and I could see the flicker of recognition, followed by shock. I didn't expect." "You didn't expect to see me?" I said softly, letting the words linger like a knife. "Or you didn't expect me to rise while you were busy destroying what we had?" Her lips trembled. I don't." Ryan stepped forward, chest puffed. "Hey, who is this guy?" I tilted my head, eyes calm, calculating. "Ryan. Funny to see you again. I imagine you didn't think much about me after everything." He bristled. "Everything? What are you talking about?" I smiled faintly. "The betrayal. The divorce. The humiliation. Do you really need me to remind you?" Lena's hand gripped his arm. "Ryan, calm down." "Let's not." "Don't calm down?" I interrupted. "No, I think it's time someone remembers. Someone realizes consequences exist." Ryan's face darkened. "You've changed, something's different about you. You're powerful. Dangerous." "Dangerous?" I echoed, tilting my head. "No. I'm careful. I'm precise. I wait for the right moment. You, on the other hand, I glanced at him, letting the words sink in. You've made mistakes. Reckless, careless mistakes. And I've been watching. Lena's eyes widened. Watching? You've been, all this time? Every misstep, I said, calm but sharp. Every foolish decision you made, Ryan. Every indulgence, every arrogance. I know it all. And it will matter. Soon. Ryan stepped closer, fists clenched. You think you can intimidate me? I'm nothing like before. You're powerless? I suggested, voice low, measured. No. Not powerless. But aware now. And that's far more dangerous than raw strength. She gasped softly. You're not the same man I knew. You're someone else. I am the man I should have been, I said, meeting her gaze. The man you thought you could break, the man you thought would crumble. I'm him now. And I've built everything from nothing. Everything. Her lips parted. I don't. I can't believe it. You'll believe it soon enough, I said softly. But first, patience. Ryan's nostrils flared. What are you talking about? Are you some kind of ghost? Some kind of... I don't know. I raised a finger. Not a ghost. A man who learned from the past. Who remembers everything. Who will never be broken again. That's all you need to know, Ryan. The rest, you'll see. He took a step back, frowning, uneasy now. You can't, you weren't supposed to. I smirked faintly. Supposed to what? Rise above your arrogance? Outsmart your recklessness? Exactly. And I did. Lena's voice trembled. I didn't think you'd. I mean, you've changed so much. You're powerful, I supplied, softly, letting the word hang. I'm not the man you discarded. I'm stronger, smarter. And I've been patient. Waiting, watching, learning. All while you chased fleeting pleasure. Ryan clenched his jaw. You're lying. You couldn't have grown this fast, this much. I grew because I had no choice, I said, stepping closer, calm and precise. I had nothing but memories, pain, and betrayal. And I turned it into fuel. That's the difference between us now, Ryan. I act. You react. Lena's hand trembled slightly as she reached for her glass, gripping it like a lifeline. I thought you were gone forever. I thought I'd never see you again. And now this? Yes, I said softly. Now this. I am here. And the scales have shifted. You will see soon enough what it feels like to lose control, to be powerless while someone you underestimated grows beyond your reach. Ryan laughed, bitterly, but it lacked conviction. You're trying to scare me. That's all. I've faced challenges before. Challenges? I repeated, tilting my head. This isn't a challenge. This is reality. And reality has finally caught up with you. Her lips quivered. I never thought you'd. I stopped her, voice quiet but deadly. Don't speak, Lena. You had your chance to understand me when it mattered. You threw it away. I'll let your own mistakes speak for you soon enough. You don't need my words. Ryan's face reddened. I don't even, how? I told you, I said softly, letting the calm in my voice cut like a blade. I learned. I remembered. I built. And now, I control more than you ever imagined. More than you could imagine. And that makes you vulnerable. Daniel's voice echoed in my memory. Patience. Control. Observe. I forced myself to stay calm, letting the fear and confusion settle over them like a shadow. Lena's eyes filled with tears. I never wanted this. I never. You never considered it, I said, calm, quiet. You only considered what you wanted. And now, it's time you learn what it feels like when someone else decides. Ryan took a shaky step back. You've changed too much. I don't understand. That's fine, I said softly. You don't need to. You only need to see, to feel. Soon, you will. Lena's voice whispered, barely audible. I'm sorry. I shook my head slightly. Sorry isn't enough. Not yet. You had your chance to respect me, to honor me, to value me, and you threw it all away. You made your choice. She swallowed hard, tears spilling down her cheeks. And now? I stepped closer, voice calm, precise. Now. I wait. I watch. And I build. Every day, every moment, you will see how powerless you really were when you thought you controlled everything. Ryan's shoulders slumped slightly. Fear edged his movements now, subtle but unmistakable. You're serious. This isn't a game, is it? I smiled faintly, coldly. Games are for children. This is life. And in life, only the prepared, the patient, the relentless survive. Lena whispered, I never knew. You didn't need to know, I said softly. You only needed to live, to act, to face the consequences. That day will come. And when it does, you'll remember me. And you'll understand. Ryan's jaw tightened. You've already won somehow. I can't. You haven't seen anything yet, I said, voice low, sharp. Patience, Ryan. Lena. Patience. Everything unfolds in time. But make no mistake, the balance has shifted. The power is mine now. She stared at me, tears in her eyes, hand trembling on his arm. I don't know if I can face this. I don't try, I interrupted softly. You will see. You will feel. And in that moment, you will understand. That's all you need. The room fell silent for a moment, except for the faint hum of the city outside. I took a deep breath, letting the calm wash over me, letting the tension settle into their minds. This was the reunion I had waited for. The moment I tested their nerves, their composure, their arrogance. And I felt it, fear, confusion, the beginning of realization. Yes. This was perfect. I smiled faintly, confident, patient. Soon everything changes. And when it does, you will finally understand what it means to underestimate me. And for the first time, I felt it, the quiet satisfaction of control, the fire of revenge, and the calm patience of a predator ready to strike at the perfect moment. I watched them from a distance, hidden behind the tinted glass of my office. Lena laughed, high and careless, while Ryan boasted about a new deal he had secured. The sight used to make my chest ache, but now it fueled me. I leaned back in my chair, fingers tapping the desk. Daniel, I said, voice low, they're reckless. Exactly as I predicted. He glanced at me, eyebrows raised. And you're enjoying this way too much. I'm observing, I corrected. Every mistake, every overreach, every careless word. They're unraveling, piece by piece. And I'm the one pulling the strings without them knowing it. Daniel smirked. You've really become cold, haven't you? I didn't answer immediately. Cold? Perhaps. Calculated? Absolutely. Every move I make now has purpose. May walked in, her notebook in hand. I've tracked their transactions, their partners, every investment Ryan has made recently. He's overleveraged, chasing short-term gains. And Lena, she's encouraging him. Perfect. I leaned forward, steepling my fingers. Exactly what I wanted. Their own greed and arrogance will be their undoing. And they won't even realize it until it's too late. Daniel shook his head. You're almost scary when you talk like this. You're not just building power, you're weaponizing it. I smiled faintly. I've been powerless before. I won't make that mistake again. I've learned patience. I've learned strategy. I've learned the consequences of underestimating people like Ryan. May opened her notebook, tapping a line. He's about to sign a contract that could bankrupt him if it goes wrong. And Lena is encouraging it. They're walking straight into the trap. I nodded slowly, feeling a quiet satisfaction. Good. Let them walk. Let them think they control the situation. Their arrogance blinds them. That's their weakness, and I'll exploit it fully. Daniel leaned back. And when they realize what's happening, they'll panic, I said softly. And I'll remain calm. That's the difference between us now. The next day, I called Ryan under the guise of a business opportunity. Ryan, I have a proposal. A joint venture. Big returns, high risk. You in? His laugh was confident, almost arrogant. High risk? That's my style. Let's do it. Lena's on board too. She thinks it's brilliant. I kept my voice calm. Good. Then let's finalize the details tomorrow. Make sure everything is ready. After hanging up, I turned to Daniel and May. Perfect. He's already biting. Lena's encouragement makes it even better. Their overconfidence will be their downfall. May raised an eyebrow. You really enjoy this, don't you? I shrugged, almost casual. It's not enjoyment. It's observation. Strategy. Patience. Every step I take now is deliberate. They can't see it yet, but they will. That evening, I watched as Ryan worked late in his office, his focus total, his arrogance unchecked. I could practically feel the tension building. Every mistake, I whispered. Every reckless choice, it's all mine to observe. The following week, I started planting small pressures, subtle obstacles that seemed coincidental but were carefully orchestrated. A delayed shipment here, a miscommunication there, a small contract clause that could cause massive issues if mishandled. Daniel, I said, pointing at a report, look at this. He didn't notice the clause about default penalties. If he signs as is, it'll cost him dearly. Daniel whistled softly. And Lena doesn't realize it either? She's guiding him blindly. Exactly, I said. Their arrogance blinds them. Their overconfidence will lead them to ruin, and I only need to wait. Later, I intercepted a phone call between them. Ryan bragged to a client, trust me, I've got this. Nothing can go wrong. Lena says it's perfect. I let the call end, leaning back in my chair. Perfect. They're already sealing their fate. They don't even suspect it yet. May smiled slightly. You're relentless. Watching, waiting, and they don't even know you're a step ahead. Relentless? I echoed softly. No. I'm patient. Every move counts. Every misstep I observe is a lesson, a weapon, a stepping stone to control. Daniel shook his head, half amused, half awed. You're not just playing the game, you're rewriting it entirely. They won't know what hit them. I smiled faintly, thinking of that rainy night, of the humiliation, the betrayal. They will, I whispered. Soon enough. And when they do, it will be too late to stop it. 2 weeks later, the first cracks began to show. Ryan's risky deals started to fail. A partner backed out, citing unforeseen financial exposure. Lena panicked, calling him repeatedly. Ryan, you didn't check this? How could you? She hissed over the phone. I thought it was safe. The data looked perfect, he shouted, voice rising. I watched from a distance, savoring the chaos. I whispered to myself, exactly as predicted. Their arrogance, their overconfidence, it's destroying them. Daniel chuckled softly. You've engineered this perfectly. Every flaw, exploited. May nodded. And they don't even see the hand guiding them. It's beautiful in its precision. I leaned back, eyes closing briefly. Beautiful? Perhaps. Necessary? Absolutely. They need to learn that their choices have consequences. They need to feel powerless for once. The following day, Ryan confronted me directly, unaware I was the one influencing some of his business partners. I don't understand. Deals are falling apart. Everything's going wrong. And I don't know why. I looked at him calmly, voice low. Ryan, sometimes, what seems random is simply the result of choices. Every step you take has consequences. He gaped, confusion and fear in his eyes. But this isn't possible. I checked everything. Did you? I asked softly, leaning forward. Or did you rely on luck and arrogance? Lena appeared beside him, her face pale. Ryan, what's happening? Everything's collapsing. We can't fix it. I remained calm, letting the tension build. You'll find a way, I'm sure. Or maybe you won't. Their panic grew as they scrambled to control the situation. Calls, emails, frantic meetings, they were desperate, reckless, predictable. Exactly as I had planned. Daniel leaned back in the corner. You're terrifying in action. Every move calculated, every reaction anticipated. I smiled faintly. Terrifying? Perhaps. Necessary? Absolutely. They need to understand what it feels like to be powerless, to watch their world unravel while someone else remains in control. May's eyes gleamed. And they'll realize it soon enough. The trap is closing perfectly. I nodded slowly, calm, precise. Good. Let them panic. Let them struggle. Every choice they make will tighten the web. And I remain the observer, the predator, the one in control. That night, I sat at my desk, reviewing every detail, every movement. Soon, they'll realize I'm everywhere and nowhere at once. They'll understand that every misstep, every reckless decision, was seen, anticipated, manipulated. And they'll know, too late. I whispered to myself, quiet and sharp, patience, control, precision. That is power. And I have it now. As I looked out at the city lights, I felt a calm satisfaction. The trap was closing, the pieces were falling into place, and the fire of revenge was steady, controlled, unstoppable. Soon, I whispered, they'll pay for every betrayal, every insult, every careless word. But not today. Today. I watch. Today. I wait. And the moment they stumble, I'll strike. The room fell silent, except for the quiet hum of the city outside. And I smiled, confident, patient, knowing that the trap was perfect, and nothing could save them from the consequences of their own arrogance. I walked into the boardroom, crisp suit, calm expression, but inside, fire burned quietly. Daniel and May were already there, reviewing the latest reports. Everything was moving exactly as I predicted. Everything's unfolding, I said softly. They're panicking, scrambling, and they still don't realize who's controlling the pieces. Daniel looked up. It's impressive, watching them crumble while we remain completely steady. May smirked. And the best part? They can't see the hand guiding them. They think it's chaos, luck, or their own mistakes. Meanwhile, it's precision. I nodded slowly. Exactly. Every move they make. I anticipated. Every misstep. I orchestrated. And now, I let my words hang, letting the tension fill the room. Daniel leaned back. Now what? You're smiling too much. You're enjoying this. Enjoying? I repeated softly. No. I'm focused. Patient. Calm. But yes, there's a satisfaction in knowing that power, when exercised correctly, can teach lessons. May glanced at me, eyes sharp. You're talking about mercy as a weapon, aren't you? I let a small smile tug at my lips. Mercy is strategic. Power without mercy is chaos. Mercy used correctly can humiliate without violence, punish without harm. And that's exactly what I intend to do. I opened my laptop and pulled up Ryan's latest reports. He's desperate now. Deals collapsing. Partners questioning him. Lena trying to patch things, and failing. They're exhausted, blind with panic. Daniel shook his head. They never had a chance, did they? No, I said softly, leaning back. They didn't. They underestimated patience. They underestimated control. And most of all, they underestimated me. I called Lena under the guise of a casual conversation. Lena, I said softly, voice calm, I see everything. I know every move Ryan is making. I know every call, every meeting, every panic. Her voice wavered slightly. You know? How could you? Observation, I said gently. Patience. Memory. I've watched. And I've waited. And now. I choose how this ends. There was a pause. Then her voice, quiet and trembling. Why aren't you angry? Why aren't you? I am not angry, I said softly. Anger is for those who act without thought. I am calm. Strategic. Focused. And yes, merciful, in my way. I want you to understand fully what it feels like to be powerless, to watch someone rise while you flounder. She swallowed hard. I never realized. You never cared enough to realize, I said softly. And that's why you are where you are. But this is not about revenge for the sake of revenge. It's about balance. Understanding. Lessons learned too late. That's mercy, when wielded correctly. Ryan stormed into her office later, frustration evident. Lena. Everything is collapsing. How could this happen? We checked, double-checked, triple-checked. She bit her lip, panic rising. I don't know. Something's wrong. Anne. I don't understand it. I appeared suddenly, leaning casually against the doorframe. Something's wrong? I asked, calm and measured. Or someone's patience has been underestimated. Ryan's eyes widened. What are you doing here? I came to clarify, I said softly. That the chaos you see is not luck. It's consequences. And it's long overdue. Lena's lips trembled. Consequences, for us? I nodded slowly. Yes. And yet. I offer you a choice. Recognition, understanding, and the chance to act wisely. Or you can continue blindly, flailing, panicking, and suffer the full extent of your mistakes. Ryan scoffed. You think you can scare me with words? I shook my head, smiling faintly. I don't need to scare you. Your own arrogance is doing that already. I only guide the outcome. Daniel's voice echoed in my memory, patience. Precision. Observation. I let it guide me now, stepping forward calmly. You will see your errors, feel the impact, and understand how someone with patience and foresight can control the outcome without lifting a hand. That is mercy, Ryan. That is power properly used. Lena whispered, voice trembling. I don't know if I can accept it. You don't need to accept it, I said softly. You only need to see it. And when you do, you will understand what it means to underestimate me, to undervalue me, to betray me. Ryan's hands clenched into fists. You're insane. This is psychotic. I smiled faintly. Insane? Perhaps. Strategic? Absolutely. You failed because you never considered patience, foresight, or control. And now, you're learning. Lena's voice quavered. I thought I could. I could manage everything. I never knew. I never realized how strong you could be. I told you before, I said softly. Strength is built from patience, from learning, from remembering. You threw away what mattered, and I rebuilt it all. Carefully. Precisely. Strategically. Without anger. Without chaos. And yet, you feel the weight now, don't you? Ryan's face darkened. You're laughing at us. No, I said softly. I'm demonstrating mercy. You have a chance to learn. To adjust. To survive if you choose wisely. That's the difference between chaos and control. Between failure and success. And yes, it's my mercy that allows you to see it now. Lena swallowed hard. And if we fail again? I smiled faintly, calm and deliberate. Then you will learn the full consequences of your arrogance. But that is not my wish. My wish is understanding, recognition, and, yes, merciful guidance. That is power properly exercised. Ryan's voice broke slightly. You're different. I don't know what to do. You do, I said softly. Listen, observe, and adjust. Or continue blindly and suffer. That is the choice. That is the mercy I extend. Daniel leaned over, whispering quietly, You really enjoy this, don't you? I shrugged faintly. Not enjoyment. Observation. Learning. Power properly applied. The art of patience and mercy. That is what they never understood, and now they are beginning to see. May added, her eyes glinting, and when they finally understand, it will be unforgettable. Yes, I said softly, smiling faintly. Every lesson carefully taught. Every consequence measured. Every move deliberate. That is the difference between them and me. And that is true power. The day passed with tension growing, panic simmering beneath the surface. I observed silently, letting every misstep, every hurried decision, every rash word fall into place. I whispered to myself, patience, control, precision. They have no idea how easily their world can collapse under careful observation. And I will remain calm, deliberate, and merciful. Later, Lena sent a message, voice shaking through the text. I see now. I don't know if I can fix this. I understand. I smiled faintly, leaning back. Good. Understanding begins the moment mercy meets awareness. That is the lesson they need. And that I will give willingly, at the right moment. Ryan, meanwhile, called frantically, voice sharp and panicked. I don't know what to do. Every step I take, it backfires. How is this happening? I leaned forward, voice calm, soft, deadly precise. It's not luck. It's consequence. Observation. Strategy. And patience. You walked blindly, arrogantly, and now you face what it means to underestimate someone like me. He swallowed hard, voice low. I never imagined this power. Power without patience is chaos, I said softly. Power with patience is mercy. And I am merciful, for now. Lena whispered, voice quivering, I understand. I see. I smiled faintly, leaning back, watching the chaos inside them simmer. Good. Understanding begins. Mercy has its place. Power is only meaningful when measured. And now, they know, fully, the cost of their mistakes. For the first time in years, I felt a quiet calm, a steady fire, a sense of control. The trap had begun to close, and I remained patient, deliberate, and merciful. I watched from the corner of my office as the chaos unfolded like clockwork. Ryan's empire was collapsing, brick by brick, every misstep amplified by the trap I had patiently set. Lena's panic was tangible, her elegant composure shattered into frantic energy, hands shaking as she tried to salvage the wreckage. Daniel leaned against the desk, arms crossed. They're really falling apart. You orchestrated this perfectly. I smiled faintly. It's not perfection. It's inevitability. Every choice they made, every arrogance-fueled decision, led them here. I only guided the path. May glanced at the screens, eyes sharp. He's lost nearly half his investors. And she's arguing with every partner she can contact. Their world is unraveling, quietly but completely. I nodded. Exactly as planned. They think it's coincidence, bad luck, misfortune, but it's deliberate. Every collapse, every panic, every mistake, they brought it on themselves. A phone rang. I picked it up casually. Ryan's voice was sharp, panicked. I don't understand. I triple-checked the contracts. How could this happen? I leaned back in my chair, calm, collected. Ryan, every action has a consequence. Every move you made, every reckless step, brought you here. And now, you feel it. His jaw tightened. You've done this, somehow. But, why? I smiled faintly. Not why, Ryan. How? Observation. Patience. Precision. You didn't see it, you never anticipated it, and now, you suffer the results. Lena's voice came through, trembling. Ryan, what's happening? We can't fix this. Everything's falling apart. I let a small, controlled laugh escape me. Not everything, Lena. Only what you failed to manage properly. Only what arrogance led you to ignore. The rest, you'll see soon enough. Ryan's fists clenched. I can't believe it. Every deal I touched, ruined. Every partner questioning me. How? How could this happen? Because you underestimated the cost of your mistakes, I said calmly. And because you never realized who you were dealing with. You acted recklessly. You ignored caution. And I observed. And waited. Daniel muttered, almost to himself, it's beautiful in a cruel way. Watching them unravel while we stay calm, steady, untouchable. May's eyes gleamed. And the best part? They have no idea who's really controlling this. Not a single clue. I smiled faintly, voice soft. No clue at all. And by the time they realize, it will be too late. The next morning, Lena called, voice shaky, almost pleading. I don't know what to do anymore. Everything's failing. Ryan's panicking. I can't fix this. Lena, I said, calm, deliberate, listen carefully. You made choices. Your husband made choices. And now you see the consequences. Every step, every decision, every arrogance-fueled moment, led you here. And now, you feel powerless. Precisely what you refused to feel before. Tears threatened to spill from her eyes. I don't understand. I thought I could manage it all. I never thought. You never thought, I echoed softly. Exactly. That was your mistake. That was Ryan's mistake. And now, you see it. Do you understand what it feels like to be out of control? To watch everything you relied on crumble? That is the lesson of consequence. Ryan's voice broke through again, frantic and panicked. Stop talking in riddles. Who are you? How do you know everything? This can't be happening. I leaned back, calm and deliberate. Ryan, it's happening because of you. Your greed, your arrogance, your lack of foresight. Every reckless decision you made has led you here. And I merely guided the results. He gritted his teeth. Guided? No. I refuse to believe it. Nothing can ruin me this completely. Refusal doesn't matter, I said softly. Reality does. And reality is precise, patient, and relentless. Just like me. Lena whispered, voice shaking, I see it now. I finally see what we ignored, what we never respected, you. You were never weak. I nodded faintly. Correct. I wasn't weak. And I never will be again. That is what you failed to understand. That is what you ignored. And now, you experience the cost. Ryan's breathing became shallow. You were gone. I thought I was free from you. I thought I could move on. I I didn't realize. You didn't realize, I said calmly. And that lack of realization led you here. Every step, every miscalculation, every arrogance-driven decision brought you to the edge. And I remained steady, patient, in control. That is the difference between us. Lena's voice quavered. I underestimated you. I thought I knew you, but I never did. Exactly, I said softly. You never knew. And that ignorance is what allowed me to rise quietly, patiently, strategically. And now, you feel the consequences. You experience power properly exercised. That is mercy. That is justice. Daniel leaned in, whispering quietly. They're realizing it now, the moment of understanding. They're panicking and seeing the truth simultaneously. Perfect timing. May nodded. It's terrifying, but controlled. Every reaction, exactly what you predicted. I smiled faintly. Control is the lesson here. Power isn't chaos. Power is patience, observation, precision, and restraint. And they ignored it every step of the way. Later, Ryan called again, voice broken and low. I don't know what to do. I've lost everything. Lena. I can't. Calm yourself, Ryan, I said softly, voice controlled, precise. Panic doesn't help. Recognition does. Awareness does. Understanding the cost of your mistakes, that's the first step to survival. But only if you act wisely. Lena whispered, voice trembling. I see it now. We were blind. We underestimated you completely. And that, I said softly, is exactly the lesson you needed. Not rage. Not chaos. Not fear alone. Understanding. Recognition. Mercy paired with power. That is the proper way to wield it. Ryan's voice cracked. I don't know if I can recover. Everything's gone. And You can try, I said softly. But every step you take now will be measured, anticipated, and countered. You've been given a glimpse of true patience, foresight, and control. And only by acknowledging it, can you survive the next steps? Lena whispered, voice breaking, I finally understand. The man I married, the one I betrayed, he was never weak. He was always stronger than I knew. I smiled faintly, calm and deliberate. Correct. And now, you feel it fully. The balance has shifted. Power resides where foresight, patience, and careful action exist. You ignored it. And now you see it. Daniel muttered quietly, the trap fully sprung. They realize it now. And there's nothing they can do but face the consequences. May nodded. Exactly. And the beauty is they will remember this lesson for the rest of their lives. I leaned back, letting the quiet satisfaction settle. The fire of revenge burned steadily, controlled. No chaos. No blind rage. Just precise, deliberate lessons. Ryan, Lena, I whispered to myself, voice soft and deliberate, this is your reckoning. Not out of hatred, but because you forced it through your own actions. And now, you understand. Finally. They would never forget it. The humiliation, the panic, the loss, all meticulously orchestrated, observed, and guided. And I remained calm, patient, and merciful, knowing the lessons had been delivered. The fall was complete. And I had risen far beyond what they ever imagined. The day had finally come. I stood outside the conference room, suit sharp, expression calm, heart steady. Inside, Lena and Ryan were waiting, unaware of the depth of my preparation. The air was thick with tension, and I could feel the energy vibrating through the glass walls. Daniel whispered, "This is it. Everything comes together now." I nodded slowly. Yes. Patience, observation, precision. This is the moment. And they don't even suspect it. May adjusted her notes, eyes sharp. I've confirmed everything. Every document, every contract, every partner, ready. One wrong move on their side, and the consequences hit instantly. I smiled faintly. Exactly. Let's begin. I stepped into the room, calm, measured. Lena's eyes widened instantly. You're here. Yes, Lena. I'm here, I said softly. And it's time we talk. Seriously. Ryan's expression hardened. Talk? About what? You've ruined us already. I haven't ruined you, I said, voice steady, precise. You ruined yourselves. I only guided the results. I only showed you the consequences of arrogance, of betrayal, of carelessness. Lena swallowed hard. I don't know what to say. I never imagined. You never imagined me rising while you faltered, I said softly. Exactly. You never respected me. You thought I was weak. You thought I would crumble. And now, you see the truth. Ryan's fists clenched. You think you've won? That this is over? Over? I echoed. No. This is the beginning of understanding. You will finally comprehend what it means to underestimate someone you betrayed. Lena whispered, voice trembling, I see now. I understand. The man I married, he was never weak, he was stronger than you imagined, I said softly. And patient, precise, observant. That is power. That is control. That is the difference between us. Ryan's voice cracked. You've been planning all this since when? Since the moment I realized my life was over, I said calmly. Since the night I was betrayed. Every move I've made, calculated. Every risk, deliberate. Every observation, recorded. And now, it all comes together. Daniel muttered quietly, You've really become a force of nature. Calm, patient, relentless. May nodded. And deadly. They won't see it coming until it's too late. I turned back to Ryan and Lena, voice soft but sharp. Do you understand now? Every arrogance-fueled step, every careless decision, led you here. And now, you feel the weight of consequences. Lena's lips quivered. I understand. I betrayed you. I ignored you. I interrupted softly. You did. And now, you see. You feel. That is the lesson. Not rage. Not chaos. Not blind revenge. Understanding. Recognition. Mercy applied with precision. That is true power. Ryan's eyes narrowed. And what now? What are you going to do? I smiled faintly. I will give you a choice. One last chance. Recognize the consequences, act wisely, or continue blindly, and suffer further. That is the extent of my mercy. He swallowed hard, voice low. I don't know if I can recover. Everything's collapsing. And Lena. You can try, I said softly. But every action from this point forward must be deliberate. Every choice, measured. Because now, you are aware. And awareness changes everything. Lena whispered, voice quivering, I understand. I see the full extent of what we ignored, what we underestimated, you. Exactly, I said softly. You see. You feel. And that is the difference between recklessness and control. Between arrogance and understanding. Between weakness and strength. Ryan's face paled. You weren't just planning, you've been controlling everything. Not controlling everything, I said calmly. Guiding consequences. Observing reactions. Allowing nature and your mistakes to dictate the results. That is the art of strategy. That is the discipline of power. Lena whispered, tears brimming, I never realized how much you endured, how much you endured silently. I nodded slowly. I did endure. And I learned. And now, I act with purpose, precision, and patience. And yes, mercy. I offer guidance, clarity, and understanding. Not because I am cruel, but because that is the proper use of power. Ryan's jaw clenched. You've become unstoppable. I have, I said softly, letting the words sink in. And now, the question is yours. Recognize your mistakes, adjust, learn, or continue blindly and face the consequences. That is the choice. That is mercy applied with precision. Daniel whispered quietly, they're finally seeing it. Every move, every consequence, you're undeniable now. May nodded. And when they finally accept it, the lesson will be unforgettable. Lena's voice trembled. I finally understand everything, the betrayal, the arrogance, the mistakes, and you, your strength, your patience. Yes, I said softly. And now you feel it fully. The scales have shifted. The power resides with foresight, strategy, and patience. And that is something you ignored until now? Ryan whispered, voice cracking, I can't. I never thought you would rise like this. You didn't consider it, I said softly. Exactly. That was your failure. And now, you face the reality of that failure. Every choice, every misstep, every arrogance-driven decision led you here. And I remain calm, precise, and merciful. Lena whispered, voice low, I see. I understand. I was wrong, all along. Correct, I said softly. And that is the point. Understanding, recognition, and measured action. That is true power. That is patience applied to justice. And that is the mercy you receive now. Ryan's face paled further, trembling. I don't know if I can recover. You will try, I said softly. But every step must be deliberate, every choice measured. That is the lesson you needed. And yes, that is mercy from someone who knows the cost of recklessness and betrayal. Daniel muttered quietly, you've mastered it. Control, patience, observation, and mercy. They have no idea how deep it goes. May smiled faintly. And when they finally internalize it, they'll never forget. They'll remember exactly who they underestimated, and why it cost them everything. I leaned back, calm, steady, letting the silence settle in the room. Ryan and Lena were pale, trembling, silent. Understanding, fear, and humility mixed in their expressions. They had faced the consequences of arrogance, betrayal, and carelessness, and they were beginning to see the cost. I whispered softly, almost to myself, patience, control, precision, mercy. That is power. And I wield it perfectly. The boardroom remained silent, except for their quiet sobs, shallow breaths, and trembling hands. Every step, every calculation, every patient move I made had led here. The lesson had been delivered, the trap had been sprung, and I had remained calm, precise, and merciful. Finally, Lena whispered, voice broken, I understand. I see. You see, I said softly, and that is everything. The balance has shifted. The power is mine now. And you will never forget the cost of underestimating me. Ryan's voice was low, trembling. I can't. Exactly, I said softly. And that is mercy. The guidance you were too blind to accept before. The lesson you ignored. And now, you see it fully. I turned, leaving them in the room, their silence filled with understanding and fear. Outside, Daniel and May waited, eyes bright. I smiled faintly, calm and deliberate. The final confrontation, complete. Power, patience, observation, mercy, all applied. And now, the aftermath will teach the rest. I walked into my office the morning after the final confrontation, the city buzzing quietly below. The storm of Ryan and Lena's collapse had passed, leaving silence, consequence, and a strange, heavy calm. Daniel and May were already reviewing the latest reports. Everything stabilized, Daniel said softly. The companies they controlled are reorganized, and were now in control of every asset they lost. I nodded, sipping my coffee. Good. But this isn't just about assets. It's about lessons. Awareness. Understanding what happens when arrogance meets precision. May smiled faintly. They'll remember it. Every misstep, every panic, every oversight, they'll never forget you. I leaned back, voice soft. They shouldn't. And I didn't act out of hate. I acted out of necessity, strategy, and yes, measured mercy. Now, it's time to rebuild. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Rebuild? Everything you did was about revenge, observation, control. Are you considering mercy now? I smiled faintly. Mercy isn't weakness. It's strength exercised correctly. I've learned the cost of chaos. Now, I can choose to act differently. Thoughtfully. Intentionally. Later that day, I called Lena under the guise of reconciliation. Lena, I said softly, I want to discuss moving forward. For your sake, for your understanding, for growth. Her voice trembled. Growth, you really mean, after everything? After all I've done? Yes, I said calmly. Not to forgive blindly. Not to forget. But to allow you to recognize your mistakes, learn, and perhaps, change. Ryan's voice came through on another call, sharp but low. I don't know if I can ever recover from this. Everything's gone, and You can recover, I said softly. If you act wisely. If you acknowledge your mistakes. If you understand the consequences. Then, perhaps you have a chance. Otherwise, you continue blindly, and the results will follow. Lena whispered, voice shaky, I don't know if I can. I feel broken, but I see now. I understand. Exactly, I said softly. Understanding is the first step. Recognition is the second. And growth, that comes after. You won't be able to undo what happened, but you can choose how to move forward. That's the difference between chaos and control. Daniel muttered quietly, you really have a way with this. Lessons delivered calmly, precisely, without losing your composure. May nodded. They'll remember it. Every detail. Every choice you made. And they'll respect it, even if grudgingly. I smiled faintly. Respect isn't required. Awareness is. Recognition is enough. They must understand the cost of arrogance and betrayal, and they must carry it with them. That is all I ask. That evening, I sat at my desk reviewing reports. Every move I made in the past weeks had led here, a stable foundation, lessons learned, consequences realized. I whispered to myself, patience, observation, mercy. That is power properly applied. And now, I can rebuild from this foundation. A call came from one of my senior managers. Daniel. May, everything's ready. The companies are reorganized, the assets consolidated. Everything is under your control. No loose ends remain. I nodded slowly. Good. But this isn't just about control. It's about lessons embedded in every choice, every consequence. The future will be shaped by awareness, by strategy, by patience. Later, I received a message from Lena. I finally see what I ignored, what I underestimated, you. I want to. Learn and make amends. I smiled faintly, voice calm. Good. Recognition is the first step. Growth comes next. Actions will prove intentions, not words. Ryan's voice came again, low and hesitant. I don't know if I can ever forgive myself. You must learn, I said softly. Learn from every misstep, every decision, every arrogance-fueled choice. Understand the cost. Recognize what was lost. And perhaps act differently in the future. That is redemption. Daniel whispered, you've truly transformed. The man who was betrayed, broken, now guiding, teaching, controlling, with precision and mercy. May nodded. Yes. And they'll never forget it. Every choice, every lesson, they'll carry it forever. I leaned back, voice soft but deliberate. Good. That is enough. Lessons delivered, consequences realized, awareness instilled. Now, it's time to rebuild. My life, my work, my purpose, without chaos, without vengeance, but with precision and understanding. Later, Lena called again. I want to try. I want to act wisely, to learn, to make amends. I see now. I understand. Good, I said softly. Actions will show intent, not words. Recognition without action is meaningless. Every choice from here must be deliberate, measured, aware. Ryan's voice was low, hesitant. I'll try. I see the cost. I understand now. You will try, I said calmly. That is enough for now. Awareness, recognition, and deliberate action. That is all that matters. The rest is up to you. Daniel muttered quietly, "You've truly mastered it: control, patience, observation, mercy. Everything applied perfectly." May nodded. "Yes. And the lessons they've learned, they'll never forget. Every decision, every consequence, your influence is permanent." I smiled faintly. Permanent influence is not about fear. It's about understanding. Awareness. Lessons embedded in every choice. That is the mark of true power, and now I can finally rebuild with that foundation. Later, I met with my senior team. "We move forward," I said calmly. "Assets reorganized. Lessons delivered. Awareness instilled. And now, our focus shifts to growth, strategy, and rebuilding with precision. No chaos. No mistakes. No arrogance. Only deliberate action." Daniel smiled faintly. "You've turned betrayal into strength, strategy, and awareness. The man who was broken, now unstoppable." May nodded. "And the lessons they learned will guide them for the rest of their lives. They'll remember every choice, every consequence, every patient, precise action you took." I leaned back, calm, deliberate, whispering softly to myself, patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, all applied perfectly. And now, it's time to rebuild. My life, my purpose, my future. Carefully, deliberately, with strength and wisdom. Lena sent a final message. I will act wisely now. I will make amends. I understand fully." I smiled faintly. Recognition is achieved. Awareness is instilled. Now, action will prove intent. Growth will follow consequence. That is the proper use of power. Ryan's voice was trembling. I see now. I will try. That is enough," I said calmly. "Try, learn, act deliberately. That is all I require. The rest is up to you." As I sat at my desk, city lights reflecting off the glass, I whispered softly, "The final confrontation is over. Lessons delivered. Consequences understood. Awareness instilled. And now, I rebuild. Patiently, deliberately, with strength, precision, and mercy. My life, my future, my purpose finally aligned." For the first time in years, I felt a quiet calm, a sense of control that was unshakable. The storm of betrayal, chaos, and revenge had passed, leaving clarity, understanding, and a foundation to build anew. I leaned back, eyes closing briefly. Patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, all applied. And now, rebuilding begins. I walked into my office one last time, the morning sun casting long shadows across the polished floor. Everything was finally in place. The companies, the assets, the lessons, they all aligned perfectly. I took a deep breath, feeling the calm I had craved for so long. Daniel leaned against the desk, arms crossed. "It's done. The final consequences have settled. Ryan and Lena, they've accepted reality." I nodded slowly, sipping my coffee. "Good. Not because I wanted to crush them, but because they've learned. Awareness. Recognition. Understanding the cost of arrogance and betrayal." May smiled faintly. "They'll remember this moment for the rest of their lives. Every misstep, every consequence, they'll never forget the difference between chaos and control." I leaned back, calm and deliberate. "Exactly. Mercy is not weakness. Strategy is not cruelty. Power is measured, deliberate, precise. And now, justice is complete. Later that day, Lena called again, voice soft, trembling but steady. I want to apologize. For everything. For betrayal, for arrogance, for ignoring you. I understand now, fully. Good, I said softly. Recognition is the first step. Apology is meaningless without action. Every choice you make from here must reflect understanding. That is how redemption begins. She hesitated. I want to act wisely. To correct what I can, to learn, to grow. I nodded faintly. Then begin. Every action will prove intent. Every step forward, deliberate, conscious, aware. That is the measure of true change. Ryan's voice came hesitantly, low, broken. I don't know if I can forgive myself. I see now the cost of my mistakes. You must, I said calmly. Not for me, but for yourself. Awareness, recognition, deliberate action, that is the only path forward. Attempt it, and you may rebuild. Ignore it, and you will face consequences repeatedly. That is the law of cause and effect. Daniel muttered quietly, almost to himself, "You've truly mastered it." Observation, patience, strategy, mercy. All applied perfectly. May nodded. Yes. And they will never forget it. Every lesson, every consequence, it's permanent. I smiled faintly. Permanent, yes. Not because I imposed it, but because they chose to live with it. That is the difference between chaos and controlled consequence. That is power exercised wisely. Later, I received a report. Ryan and Lena's businesses were slowly stabilizing under careful guidance, their mistakes understood, their strategies corrected, but only because they now recognized the cost of arrogance. Their panic had transformed into cautious calculation. Their recklessness into measured awareness. I whispered softly, exactly what I hoped for. Lessons learned, consequences understood, and perhaps, one day, respect earned. Lena sent a final message. I see now. I understand fully. I will act deliberately. I will learn. I will grow. I smiled faintly. Recognition achieved. Awareness instilled. Now, actions will define the future. Ryan called hesitantly, voice trembling. I will try. I understand the cost. I will act wisely. That is enough, I said softly. Try, learn, act deliberately. Awareness is key. Recognition is the foundation. And the rest is up to you. Daniel muttered quietly, "You've truly closed the circle." Betrayal, revenge, lessons delivered, now rebuilding begins. May nodded. Yes. And the lessons they carry will guide every choice. They'll never forget you, or what happened, or what they ignored. I leaned back, calm, deliberate, voice soft. Patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, all applied perfectly. And now, life can continue, deliberately, intentionally. With strength, precision, and understanding. Later that afternoon, I met with my senior team. We move forward, I said calmly. Assets consolidated. Lessons delivered. Awareness instilled. And now, we rebuild. Carefully, deliberately, without chaos, without arrogance. only measured action and thoughtful strategy. Daniel smiled faintly. You've turned betrayal into strength, control, and understanding. The man who was broken, now unstoppable. May nodded. And the lessons they've learned, they will never forget. Every misstep, every consequence, permanently imprinted. They'll remember exactly who underestimated them, and why it cost them everything. I leaned back, calm and deliberate, whispering softly, patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, all applied perfectly. And now, rebuilding begins. My life, my purpose, my future, aligned and deliberate. The city hummed quietly below, a steady rhythm reflecting the calm I felt. Betrayal, chaos, and revenge had passed. What remained was clarity, understanding, and the power of deliberate action. I picked up my phone and called Lena one final time. Lena, I hope you understand the importance of deliberate choices. Awareness. Recognition. And every action moving forward must reflect that. Only then can you truly rebuild. I understand, she whispered, voice trembling but steady. I will act wisely, deliberately, consciously. I will carry the lessons with me. Good, I said softly. Actions, not words. Recognition must lead to deliberate change. And you must carry awareness in every step. Ryan's voice came hesitantly, low. I see the consequences now. I understand fully. I will try. That is enough, I said softly. Try, act deliberately, learn from mistakes. Recognition is the foundation. Awareness is your guide. And the rest depends on your choices. Daniel whispered quietly, the circle is truly closed now. Betrayal, revenge, lessons, consequences, and finally, understanding. May nodded. Yes. And the lessons they've learned will guide every choice for the rest of their lives. They'll carry it forever. I smiled faintly, calm and deliberate. Lessons delivered. Consequences realized. Awareness instilled. Now, rebuilding begins. My life, my work, my purpose, deliberate, precise, strong. Finally, aligned. Later that evening, I sat at my desk, reviewing reports and reflecting. The storm of betrayal, revenge, and chaos had passed. What remained was clarity, understanding, and a future built on deliberate, precise action. I whispered softly to myself, patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, applied perfectly. Lessons delivered. Consequences realized. Awareness instilled. Now, life continues, deliberate, purposeful, and strong. Lena sent one last message, I understand fully. I will act wisely, deliberately, consciously. I will carry the lessons, always. I smiled faintly, calm, deliberate. Recognition achieved. Awareness instilled. Actions will now define the future. Rebuilding begins. Ryan called one last time, voice low and hesitant. I understand. I will act deliberately. I see now the cost, the lessons, everything. That is enough, I said softly. Awareness is key. Recognition is the foundation. Actions will prove intent. And the rest is up to you. I leaned back, eyes closing briefly, feeling the calm I had longed for. The betrayal was gone, the chaos passed, the lessons delivered. What remained was power exercised wisely, patience applied fully, and the foundation for a future rebuilt with deliberate action. Patience, observation, mercy, strategy, control, awareness, all applied. Rebuilding begins. Life continues, deliberate, intentional, precise, and strong. And with that, I finally felt closure.